David Hundeyo, an investigative journalist that has been on the case of Bola Ahmed Tinubu alleged drug cases in the United States of America, posted this on his official X account, and it says, yesterday in the federal court, the CIA, FBI, the DEA filed a memorandum opposing our motion for summary judgment in the FOIA disclosure case about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's drug trafficking investigation record, where we are seeking to have the redactions removed from the partially released files. Remember, there was a suit seeking for the CIA to release the document belonging to Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he came into the United States of America. When Bola Ahmed Tinubu's victory was being challenged in court by Atiku Abubakar, they needed those documents in order to disqualify him in court. But the CIA released those documents, but it was redacted. It means that information regarding Bola Ahmed Tinubu were removed from that document. David Hundeyo, in collaboration with a US information site called Plain Sight, decided to challenge the CIA in court, asking them to remove that redaction so that they can release the unadulterated document of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In response, the CIA said that they will not remove the redaction because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a human source. In other words, you can say that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a person of interest to the CIA, an asset, or an agent of the CIA. As you can see the document so far, you can actually go to the site, Plain Sight, to download more of the document. Now, this is how they describe what they mean by a human source. They said, a human source can be expected to furnish information to the CIA only when they are confident the CIA can and will do everything in its power to prevent the public disclosure of their cooperation. In the case of a person who has been cooperating with the CIA, official confirmation of that cooperation could cause the target to take retaliatory action against that person or against their families or friends. It also places in jeopardy every individual with whom the cooperating individual has been in contact. Thus, the indiscretion of one source in a chain of intelligence source can damage an entire spectrum of sources. As such, a confirming or denying the existence of records on a particular foreign national like Tinubu reasonably could be expected to cause damage to US national security by indicating whether or not the CIA maintained any human intelligence source related to Bola Ahmed Tinubu and identifying any access or lack of access any such source had to intelligence concerning him. David Hundeyo went on to say, if that wasn't bad enough, the DEA filing included a paragraph that literally said, we oppose full unredacted disclosure of the DEA's Bola Tinubu's heroin traffic investigation record because we believe that while Nigerians have a right to be informed about what their government is up to, they do not have a right to know what their president is up to. And he went further to say, at this point, I think there is nothing more to be said about the direct role that the US government plays in ensuring that Africa is constantly destabilized and afflicted with terrible leaders who create poverty and devastation. Well, let's see what Trump's era will bring. I don't expect what David Hundeyo has just revealed to make it on the news. I don't expect Nigerians to take this very serious because they do not understand the gravity of what it means for a sitting president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a sovereign nation, to be a human source, an asset to another intelligence authority of another country. I expect them to dismiss it and I expect them to make mockery of it, just like they've been making mockery of all the information that have been released about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But if whatever David Hundeyo posted on his official X account is true, then there is serious trouble. But let me educate you all what this means for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria and Nigerians. But before I start explaining everything about this, David Hundeyo said something that he's going to see what the Trump administration is going to do about this. Remember, it was a video I posted about Trump saying that he's going to release every declassified information about the deep state. What this news is all about is the deep state, and I posted a video about it explaining what the deep state is all about. Now, Kesh Patel is being tipped to be the next CIA director under Trump administration, and he has something to say about CIA and the FBI corruption, which they use to convert corrupt leaders in other countries. I want you to listen to what Kesh Patel said. I'll be back.
Declassification office, whatever you want to call it, transparency, truth, whatever, I don't care. Sits in the White House, reports directly to you, and you take incoming from the United States of America. I want JFK. I want the 9/11 files. I want this. I want that. All the FBI, and this is a tool, this is something we didn't cover. what the deep state uses the most to cover up their corruption is an illegal application of the classification system. Remember the Lovebirds text from, this is a beauty, the Lovebirds text from FBI, DOJ land, Russiagate, Strzok and Page were texting each other. They were running the Russiagate investigation against Trump. They were the head of the counterintelligence unit at the FBI. And they're having an extramarital affair together. Can't make this stuff up. They're sending each other texts about how much they hate Trump and are going to create an insurance policy to stop Trump. Then we finally find those text messages. You know what the FBI and DOJ do for like a year? Redact them to congressional investigators and congressional men and women running the oversight of their agency. That's just one example. But it gets even better. Here's the deep state full circle. Just last week, do you know what Strzok and Page received from the Department of Justice?
What?
A $1.5 million payout to settle a lawsuit that Strzok and Page brought for the improper disclosure of their personal text messages on FBI phones. And the DOJ just rewarded them. They broke the law. They broke the chain of command. They broke every regulation there is in the FBI. They weaponized the system of justice against a political target they hated. We found those text messages, and we got them declassified finally in full when I became Deputy Director of National Intelligence. And the world has now seen them, and they can read them. And that's the best form of transparency. That's why I want this 24/7 declassification office. Don't have me regurgitate it to you. Read it. Get the documents, get the files, get the memos. But the deep state came full circle and gave these guys a payday for rigging a presidential election and breaking the law. So now you know what happens. That's step one. Step two, get America the truth. And that's what that office would be for.
If we have to believe what this guy is saying, then there is hope that those documents belonging to Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be released. But we don't know. Maybe he will get into office and become one of them. We don't know. What does this mean for Nigeria and Nigerians? It means that we are cooked. We are in a serious trouble. Like I said, I don't expect Nigerians to take this very seriously because so many things has gone under the radar in this country and they did not even talk about it. Maybe because they don't understand or simply because they are tired of this country. And the media, Nigerian media, they will not even say anything about this news. They will rather talk about Pastor Emmanuel Earring's response to Mr. P2B's turning night shift to night vigil. This video is going to exist for posterity's sake. When a CIA agent or even someone closely associated as an asset of the CIA becomes the president of another country, it suggests a significant level of foreign influence over the nation leadership. This means that the so-called president has some level of allegiance, loyalty, or dependency on the US intelligence agency. The leader's involvement with the CIA could influence their actions and policies, creating potential conflict of interest between their country's needs and the US interests. It also means that the leader may prioritize US interests over their own country's need, aligning policies with the preference of US agencies. Before we continue, I want you to listen to Showere, where he said that there is a global interest to keep Nigeria destabilized.
There's a global interest to keep Nigeria the way it is. So yes,
global interest.
Oil can keep flowing in direction of multinationals. There are people whose interest is to make sure Nigeria doesn't progress so that the black man will not find his feet globally. So anybody who is also fighting them here, you are fighting that global economic interest. And that is what was clear to us during Ken Saro-Wiwa's death. The world could have saved Ken Saro-Wiwa. Even Mandela refused to make the call to Abacha. Or he said he called Abacha, Abacha didn't pick. All of them could have made that call and said, look, if you touch this guy, we are going to give you hell. But because, Ken Saro-Wiwa went and pressed the red button, which is oil. Do you know why Ogoni land has over 62 billion cubic feet of gas?
62 billion.
This is not even oil,
Gas.
Because what most people don't understand is that oil is going out of business, but gas is going to be around for a long time.
Yes.
So that is what they're interested in protecting. And the guy who starts saying, we own the thing, I was like, what's your problem now, guy, man? And they finished him. Global conspiracy. It's the same thing they did to Kanu now. How do you think that Kanu was kidnapped in Kenya and brought to Nigeria, and there's no manifest of the plane that brought him to today. Even judges cannot ask for it. How did he get to Nigeria from Kenya? Who was the person who abducted him from the underground garage?
This should give you a clue of the global interest in Nigeria and why they want Nigeria destabilized. Let's go back to the 2015 presidential election where President Muhammadu Buhari was elected as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Before APC took over power from Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and the PDP, Nigeria was rated the third fastest growing economy in the world, alongside India, China and Dubai. In an unsurprising manner, the US President Barack Obama was actively interested in that election. He sent a goodwill message to Nigerians ahead of that election, urging them to vote and ensure that their votes count. It was being alleged that President Muhammadu Buhari was backed by the US to become the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and he eventually became the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 8 years in office, he destroyed everything that has to do with Nigeria. Destroy Nigeria economy, destroy Nigeria institutions. Nigeria, that was rated the third fastest growing economy in the world and the biggest economy in Africa, is nowhere to be found. All her status has been diminished. Nigeria is now deep neck in debt. If Nigeria had continued under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, I can tell you that we will not be where we are today. Nigeria would have been in a more better position economically, security and otherwise. The 2023 presidential election was an avenue for Nigerians to redeem themselves from the mistake they made in 2015. But unsurprisingly, Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the election after INEC colluded with APC to ensure that Tinubu win that election. That election victory was being challenged in court, and Atiku Abubakar went to the US, filed a case seeking the FBI, the CIA and the DEA to release documents relating to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That document was needed to disqualify Bola Ahmed Tinubu from contesting that election. The CIA delayed releasing that document even when the documents were released after the Supreme Court has confirmed Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a winner of that election. It was redacted. All this and many more confirm the fact of conspiracy theories that there is a deep state interest in Nigeria. Why are they so much interested in Nigeria? Nigeria is one of the world's largest oil producers, and this economy heavily relies on oil exports. With this abundance of resources, major powers, particularly the US, UK, China, and some European countries, they have vested interest in securing access to Nigeria's oil reserve. When a country is politically unstable, it can be easier for the powerful foreign corporations to negotiate favorable deals for oil extraction and other resources acquisitions. Again, Nigeria is geographically and strategically important as Africa's most populous country and an economic powerhouse in the region. Any control over Nigeria's influence in West Africa is significant for global powers aiming to maintain influence in Africa. If Nigeria is destabilized, it weakens its regional influence, allowing global powers to exert greater control over neighboring countries without having to contend with a strong regional leader. Can you now see the reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu was greatly involved when the military took over power in Niger Republic? He went as far as cutting ties with Niger Republic. He even threatened to send military to invade Niger Republic. You remember what was being said about him then, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is being used as a puppet. I hope everything is getting clearer to you right now. Again, global financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, they often lend money to countries like Nigeria under conditions that promote market reforms, favoring foreign investment and privatization. When your country is destabilized, the government of your country will rely on external loans and financial support, which can lead to debt dependency. Can you now see the reason why they keep borrowing Bola Ahmed Tinubu money? In just 16 months in office, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has borrowed 11 trillion naira in just 16 months in office. The loan given to Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not going to favor Nigeria, and it's not favoring Nigeria. Have you now seen the reason why we are going from bad to worse? The foreign interest in Nigeria is not to make Nigeria better. The foreign interest in Nigeria is not to service the will and the aspiration of the people. The foreign interest in Nigeria is to protect the interests of the deep state. What this means is that we are cooked. And the only people that can stop this are Nigerians themselves. The only thing that can stop this rubbish is wide revolution in this country. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.